I'm here on the job site. I'm going to be mounting a door window contact on the frame and the edge of the door. Cleaning the installation area. The adhesive pad that I use to mount my door window contact needs a clean surface for it to stick well and be adhesive for a long time. Normally in a house, you'll get some kind of a buildup on all surfaces, possibly just hand grease or nicotine from smokers or cooking grease around a kitchen. What I want to do is wipe that off with isopropyl alcohol on a rag and clean off that area very good. But I'm also being careful not to rub so hard as to, if it's a flat paint, clean this down far enough that it leaves a ring where I no longer cleaned anything. That can be very unattractive, so be careful of that. And try to kind of, clean it gently out on the edges and then a little more firmer scrubbing where the door contact's going to be. This is important if you want that double sticky foam to stay put for several years. This door frame is kind of a challenge because it's got these flutes and it's also beveled. So it's going to tilt the door contact towards the door itself. I'm going to have to take care of that and measure for that. I'm also going to have to use a thicker foam product for my double sticky foam than what's in the package. And the package it's good quality, it's 3M, but it's only 1/32 of an inch tall. That means that with these bumps in the door frame, it's only going to make a tiny contact on the very top of those ridges and will probably be easy to knock loose. So instead, I'm using a thicker foam. This is a Scotch brand, 1/16 inch thick double sticky foam. Its operating temperatures are from 50 degrees to over 100 degrees. So unless we're in real cold weather, it should work fine. So let's press that in place. And I know that if I have it back about to the middle of that second flute, it's going to give me enough distance to get that door open without bumping into the switch. So I'm going to put it right there as close as I can, but far enough away that nothing will be damaged. My little arrow is telling me that I can put my magnet in place and get it right next to that door switch. And I'll open the door to make sure it clears, and it does quite easily. Then I'll press it in place. I'll hold it for 30 seconds and I'll mash that foam down and try to get it to flow in between those ridges down into those little valleys and get more contact surface area. I've got that done. Now I'm going to put my magnet in place, and I will have to cut some foam for it, and I'll do that right now. First I want to show you that this contact within the lid is the magnet itself. That's a shiny piece of metal in there. And that is an interference fit, which means it's just sort of squeezed in there and can come loose in packing and shipping sometimes. That would mean that that would be loose inside the housing. And I just need to press it back in place, either with my finger or a small screwdriver. And the interference fit will be good again, and it will stay put inside the lid. Here's the base of the door window magnet, and you can see that it's got little pylons there to hold the lid in place, and it's got holes for mounting screws in the base there. Now I'm going to put the lid back on it. Just snaps on. And I'm going to measure out a bit of this 3M foam to attach it to the door. And to do that, I'm going to move it back a little bit from the edge and a little bit back from all edges, and then cut it using the door window contact as a guide. Makes it fast and easy, fits every time. I trim it off as close as I can. There we go. Then I'll just reposition it a little bit. So I haven't pressed it in place yet. And it makes a nice pad that doesn't hang off on either end, and it looks quite good. Now I'll peel that backing off. I'll look for my arrow and put this in place. I want it to be about 1/16 of an inch back from the edge of the door, so it doesn't get any kind of mechanical insult when that door is open, and it's lining up and nice and straight. So now I open and close the door. Nothing interferes with anything else, but that magnet is as close as possible to the door window contact. And that is what I needed to do to get this surface mounted with the adhesive. Set up to drill the holes to mount this with screws, because let's say I'm in Minnesota in the wintertime and this door might be left open for a little bit of ventilation, but the air that comes through could be 10 degrees below zero. Well, that's much lower than 50 degrees and would cause the double sticky foam on the back of this door window contact to get very cold and lose its adhesive ability. It would just not be sticky anymore and could just fall off or get bumped off quite easily. So in that case, I'm going to want to put some screws in this base, and you see it's recessed. It's got a place where the screw head can sit down, and then the rest of the electronics is sitting up above that. It also has a tamper switch post that depresses a tamper switch. Now this will be disconnected from the rest of the switch body. That's pretty easy. You just insert a screwdriver and pry against that, and it'll break that little bit of plastic there and break the little bit of plastic on this side. Then it will be completely free from the door window contact base. You'll put a screw into there and it'll hold it in place, so if anyone were ever take the electronics loose from the base, it would send a tamper alarm. And that tamper alarm comes in as a trouble when the alarm isn't armed, but when the system is armed, then it gives you an alarm. I'm not going to be using that today, so I'm just going to home in on what I need to do to put screws in there successfully to mount this solidly onto the door frame. I'm going to use an automatic punch. This is spring loaded, and it really makes a good impact on that point when you hear the click, and will drive through that foam into the wood of the door frame. I'll do the same thing below, and I'll possibly even do it several times just to make sure it's gone through the foam. And I can see my little hole there that goes into the door frame. This will give me just enough of a hole so that I can safely start the screw and turn it in, screw down this, and make it permanent in that way. I have my door contact and my magnet mounted. Everything seems to be stable. I've driven screws in it if I think that it's going to get too cold or it's going to get too much mechanical force used on it, so it'll be knocked loose. And now I need to do a strength test with the touchscreen.